Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. We had some technical issues on our end. So we are ready. Y'all back now. So we're ready for Mr. Gowan. Is that you, sir? Would you introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us your name and your DOC number, please.
Marion Gowan, 95-713.
And you have counsel with you today. Would you introduce yourself?
Good morning, good afternoon, Ms. Renata. Jane Hogan from the Parole Project here on behalf of Marion Gowan, and I'll make a statement at the end with the committee's approval.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gowan, let me just read some identifying information into the record, then we'll start the interview process with you. Also here today speaking in support will be Mr. Kerry Myers with the Parole Project. So Mr. Gowan, you're seeking a commutation excuse me, of your sentence. You have, you're currently serving a life sentence, having been sentenced in October 1981 for second-degree murder. Also, you have a conviction for simple escape in 1989. You received a 2-year sentence that runs consecutive to the life sentence. Is that information correct, Mr. Gowan?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, and your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson. Would you answer her questions?
Good afternoon, Ms. Gowan. How are you?
I'm fine, man.
Ms. Gowan, you're 69 and you'll be 70 in July. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been incarcerated on this charge?
40, a little over 42 years.
And so you were about what, 27 when this crime?
27. Yes, ma'am. 27.
Tell us about who you were back then. Were you working? Were you married? Did you have a family? What was your situation?
I can tell you, go ahead and tell you the whole thing real quick. I was married. I started sniffing meth in July of 1980.
Started doing what with meth? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You started doing what with meth?
Started sniffing crystal meth. That's
Okay.
the problem right there. And the way I got it, I won a Sugar Ray Leonard fought Duran, and I bet and won. The dude paid me a $50 bag of meth. It's what got me started on it for the second time. And I just built a house 7 or 8 months before. My wife was a nurse, doing good, and I started sniffing this meth. And within 7 or 8 months, I'm in trouble. I don't even want to work no more. And I'm a workaholic. And my wife said, "What are you doing for yourself?" I didn't want to hear nothing. The meth's the worst thing you can possibly take. I can tell you that right now. If they find anybody who's selling it, they ought to give them 30 years flat. It's pitiful. I hadn't touched it since what happened. And that's why that was the problem. They say I'm using that as a crutch. No crutch. It's what made me do it.
Okay.
I had to have money to buy it.
Okay, I
I've
understand.
never
So
touched it. Yeah, I never wanted it again.
what kind of work were you doing before you got on meth?
I've always been a bricklayer. I made bottom brick. And I'm good at it.
Well, so tell us what happened. How did this home invasion come about, and how did the homeowner get killed? Give us that information.
Okay, I'll tell you just how it went down.
Okay.
Me and a guy go there, and my plan is my plan. I'm the one. My plan is it's a dice game. I'm going to have to rob the money out of the dice game, get a coin collection, and some diamonds. Well, we come in the door with the garage. About 8 people there.
So talk real fast and a lot. So slow down for just a moment. Did you know the people who lived in that house?
No, ma'am. I didn't know none of them. But I
Well,
knew.
why did you think they have money and diamonds and a dice
Well,
game? How did you know all that?
Okay, I was told by that to a car dealer a week or so before. I wasn't gonna mention his name, but that's how I found out about it. Why I found out coins and the money was there, and the money was there. So we come in the door, I get the guy to go to the back porch and open a closet, because it's supposed to be a little vault back there with the diamonds in it. So we do that and go pull it open, and it's maybe 3 or 4 diamonds and no coin collection, you know, so we go inside. So I run back to the bedroom, and it was a woman laying in the bed. So I said, don't move, just don't move, baby, don't move. So I shot back up to the front, and the guy goes to the front door, opens it. I try to hold him with his shirt.
Okay, what guy are you talking about? The man who got killed?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Hensley was his name. He stretched out from under me, and when he got out, it was real dark. I shot 1 or 2 times, and I didn't know whether I hit him or not. And so we shoot out the back door that we came in and left, and went back to Vicksburg. I went back to Vicksburg.
Slow down for a minute. Why did you shoot at him?
I was trying to stop him. I was trying to stop him, get him to stop, but he didn't. And I said, I didn't know when I was hitting him or not, because there was no plan on killing him, but I was trying to stop him. When I get back to Vicksburg, the next morning I wake up about 5:30. Turn on the radio and put a Monroe station on it. The second I listen to it, it tells about a robbery and I forget the name of the street in Monroe, and guys dead. I was sick. So I was messed up. I done killed a man for nothing. You know, hey, stupid. And I take the blame for all of it, because I did it.
What happened after you found out that you had killed somebody?
Well, the police was there quick in some kind of way, but I know probably found out a bank statement had come out of my truck. So that's the way they did it. But they was on me, and I was so messed up I didn't care, because I was messed up. I ain't meant to kill nobody, but I did, and I blame myself for that. And I tell you, believe me, I prayed about it a bunch of times, because I know how it is. I know what I think about. What if somebody would have killed my daddy? Him and my daddy was the same age, 62, and I killed this man. I would be messed up. You know, I would.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down.
Well, I can't have it, but I have trouble, and you know, it's killing me. I mean, it's been over 42 years, and I'm still messed up with it, because I took a man's life for nothing. It made me think. One thing, I was in a program of one of the programs about anger management, and you know, I read it and I said, that was me. I was mad. That's all I can say. I just a few weeks ago, I was mad and shot that man for nothing. You know, I messed up with it. But
So let me ask you some.
meth.
Take a breath. Take a breath. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have this serious meth problem, right?
Yeah.
So what have you done? Stop talking. What have you done while you were in prison to deal with your drug problem?
Okay, I took back when in the 80s, I come with the school playing double AA, but I didn't get no certificate for it. But then here I went through living in balance, and that was good. To be honest, ma'am, I'm never gonna touch it again. But I can go to a class and tell them about what it'll do for you. If you don't believe it, look at me. 70 years old, just about, and look what it done to me. I'm messed up. I still hate myself for it.
Let me ask you this. You've been in prison 42 years, but you only started taking programs within the last few years. Tell me why.
That's right. Well, because I needed these, but But I took one 5, 6 years ago. But I worked so much here that really I've never thought about getting out, if you know the truth. You know, I never really thought that much about it. But I worked so much here, and I've laid more brick and block than anybody in history here. I know this. And I enjoy it. And I hope that I'll be able to lay some more in the streets anyway. But you know, if I get out, you're gonna find something good I've done. I know you are. Or if I don't get out, I'm still gonna do work. And you might see state truck going down the road with a bunch of brick tools on it. You'll probably see me in the back seat. I'm still gonna try to help people. You know, like one of the churches I know we're saving $38,000 in bricking. They serve us some food. You know, hey, I like doing that. I want to do something with my life before I die, you know, because I hadn't done nothing yet.
Okay. Where's your family, Mr. McGowan?
With my family, they're in Mississippi.
Okay, and what kind of family do you have in Mississippi?
I got a brother, 2 brothers, sister-in-law, and I got a son lives in Hattiesburg, but we don't talk hardly, you know. But I got a good family. I could either go back to Mississippi and live, but on the land I was born and raised in. But I'm gonna stay. If I get out, I'm staying in Louisiana. I like it because they've kept me alive several times. Because really, I should have been dead 4 times. But
Why is that?
Ma'am?
Why is that? Why should you have been?
Well, I can tell you a couple of them if you want me to. You got time?
I don't have time.
You don't have time? But I won't tell you.
You've had about 41 write-ups.
I got that many? I don't know.
I'm
I didn't think I had that many.
Yep, that's what they say. But you haven't had one, you haven't had one since 2015.
Right.
But you've had 5 for gambling. Tell us about that.
Well, I gamble some, but you know, like I say, I really don't plan on getting out, you know, too. And I gamble to pass time. I still bet ball, you know, but I don't have to gamble.
And so I guess you haven't taken any programs to deal with gambling or drug addiction. Let me see, what did you take? You took Page Your Age, which is an anger management, right?
Right. I took them.
And
Got 2 of them.
okay. Okay, and you took Thinking for a Change.
Right. I like that.
What you get out of it?
I got so you can talk good with that because each class we talk to each other. And is anything bad went by this past week or anything good? Yeah, you know, it's a good program. Talk good. The guy teaches good.
What about victim awareness?
So I'm halfway through with it.
And
No.
what have you learned so far?
Really, I come to this too. There's so many people I hurt to it just makes me want to cry more. I thought about the man that I killed. He had a store that worked about 20 people. He had grandkids, a lot of friends, my family, a lot of it. Taught me how many people is in there. I hurt a bunch, and it makes me feel bad. But
Well, Mr. McGowan, seems like you're pretty content where you are.
no, ma'am. Well, it's like this. I want to get out because I want to do something good if I can.
You already,
If I
but
don't
you're
get
already
out, I'm still
something
going to
good.
try to do things.
but you're already doing something good.
Do something good.
You're already doing something good where you are. Okay? Because it's a lot harder out here than you think it is. A lot harder. And I don't know about the 4 times they kept you from getting killed, but there's not gonna be anybody out there to keep you from getting killed. Well, what can you tell us about Mr. Gowan?
I can tell you that, Mr. Gowan, he is, a very reliable person here. He goes to the governor mansion and he does bricklaying. He bricklayers other places too off the ground. We have letters from the governor for him. He got his GED in the state of Mississippi in 1972, and he's currently enrolled in living in balance and victim awareness. His tag is low, and like you say, his DB report, he hadn't had one since 2015.
What were the contraband write-ups, Warden?
Second, sir. The last one he had bugler cigarettes in a milk carton.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, thank you, Warden.
Welcome.
Mr. McGowan, I know your plan, if you're successful in the near future, is to go to the parole project.
All right.
What's your long-term plan?
My long-term plan is maybe to Lafayette.
Why Lafayette?
Well, it's a real good town. I know people there.
Who do you know there? I mean, what kind, you don't have family there, right?
No, but Kenneth Womack is there, and that's about all. But just I could move to Mississippi if it come down to it, but I like Louisiana. You know, because everywhere I go, I'm gonna work. I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about you. Kind of worried about you.
You worried about me?
Uh-huh. Because I just don't know that after all this time that you're capable of living out in the world on your own. You don't seem to have a lot of family support. So I don't know. I don't know. But Mrs. Renat said that's all I have, and I'll listen to what everybody else has to say.
Thank you. So, Mr. Gowan, you did some work here at headquarters in Baton Rouge?
Ma'am?
You did some brickwork here at DOC headquarters?
Yes, but I worked down there about 7 months.
And it's my understanding you also helped with the chapels across the state?
Chapels? Yes.
Yes.
7 or 8 chapels, 2 churches, dog pens. I worked about 7 months down at the building down there.
That road?
Right on Mayflower Street.
Yes, ma'am, he did all that.
Okay. And the chapels, were they all at Angola?
No, ma'am. I went to Shreveport for 37 straight days, and I stayed 37 days and came back. And that was a good chapel there, but we worked 7 days a week there at Shreveport. It was cold too. We had to knock off early and let the mortar dry. That's why it took us 37 days, but just me and one more bricklayer.
Are you retired yet?
Ma'am,
Have you retired yet from
Am I
bricklaying?
retired?
Yeah.
If I retired, no ma'am.
All right. So,
No, I'm
Mrs. Jackson may have mentioned it, but you need to be aware, I might have missed it, that you have a lot of opposition to an early
do.
release. Good, from law enforcement, from the prosecutor's office. They're opposed to any favorable consideration for you, as are the victim's, Mr. Inslee's daughter. She's strongly opposed. You need to be aware of that. I don't have any other questions. I'd like to hear from the Parole Project.
Good afternoon. Kerry Myers, Louisiana Parole Project here to let the board know that we are prepared to offer Mr. Gowan long-term residence and support should he get a recommendation. We are prepared to make sure he's connected to all the services. We don't know for sure. We believe he might be Social Security eligible, but if not, he's certainly SSI eligible. He's also, as you can see, completely capable of working. But we also, we do have the capacity and have planned to house him long term. With that, we'll also make sure he's connected to all medical services to make sure he has all his documentation. We'll make sure that if he chooses to stay, and it be our recommendation that we find him long-term housing, he'd be eligible for 202 housing here in the Baton Rouge area, particularly if he starts working at least on a part-time basis. Ms. Jackson, I think what he was referring to when he was talking about near-death experiences was his medical condition, where he had surgery for diverticulitis and was in serious condition. They kept him alive, and they also brought him back to health. I think that's at least one of the things he was talking about there, not necessarily anything nefarious as far as his conduct. As you can see, he has taken anger management, living in balance. He's completed 1 and 2. Thinking for a change. He is in victim awareness. He's taken anger management. He's completed substance abuse. He is just his experience as a bricklayer is a valuable employable skill. If so, even as a supervisor laying bricks, Parole Project is committed to help him find that employment. Also, in addition to long-term permanent housing. So. Based on the time served, his age, his work in prison, we just ask this board consider his recommendation today favorably.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Gowan, before we turn it over to Ms. Hogan, is there anything you'd like to say to us briefly?
Well, if you give me a chance, you won't regret it. Like I say, you won't regret it, because I'm gonna do it. When I get out, I'm gonna do something good. That's what I want to do before I pass away. And like I say, if you let me out, you will not regret it. I promise you. Because I would never touch meth again as long as I live. Simple as that.
All right, Ms. Hogan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Renatza. Different people have different strengths, of course. What Mr. Gowan might lack in his ability to self-advocate, he more than makes up for it with the amount of work that he has put into the last 42 years of his incarceration. He is, as self-described, he has laid more brick for the state of Louisiana and the Department of Corrections than anyone. He is very skilled, and I think that the amount, he's probably been outside the prison gates on over 100 different occasions, laying brick, never complains. I think it's also very telling that in 42 years, this is the first time he has ever applied for clemency. What you see is what you get with Mr. Gowan. And as he described it, he didn't think that he was ever going to be released. He's not complacent, or he's not trying to stay for the rest of his life in prison, but he found a niche where he fits in, where he is of use, and he was never afraid of working hard. He's been a trustee without interruption since 2006. He's been to Mayflower Street. He's been to the governor's mansion on multiple occasions. He's been to Shreveport. He's built cemeteries. He's built chapels inside and outside the prison. And the way that Mr. Gowan talks about his work, that's what made him feel good. Putting something back into society, building churches, that made him feel decent. When he's the first person to tell you how disgusted and how sick he is to this day over what he did. He pled guilty to his crime also, because at the time he didn't want to put the family through any more pain. And in every conversation I've ever had with him, he always talks exactly how he spoke today about how troubled he is by what he did, how disgusted he is with himself. And if he is granted the opportunity for release, he has the support of the parole project. He's got a very marketable skill. I think his record really shows that he is redeemable, that he is worthy of a second opportunity for release. And so we would ask this board to consider not what Mr. Gowan said or failed to say today, but really what he's shown himself to be capable of over the last 42 years, especially with all of the work and the hard work that he's given to the Department of Corrections and to the state of Louisiana. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're prepared to vote. Mrs. Jackson?
All right, Mr. Gowan, it was interesting talking to you today, or rather listening to you today. You've been in jail 42 years. You readily acknowledge your guilt and just how senseless it was to have taken someone's life. You've done some good work in the prison and around the state. And you do have the support of the parole project, which I think is going to be essential for you if you're going to be successful in transitioning. So my vote is to recommend commutation to 99 years.
Mr. Roche?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Gowan,
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed your interview. You were honest, you were forthcoming, but I need to give you just a little bit of advice. We appreciate all the work that you've done throughout the state, but you need to take time and bolster up your programming to work on your meth problem. I know you hadn't had meth in a long time, but you are always considered a drug addict. Once a drug addict, always a drug addict.
Right,
You
that's
need to
absolutely
bolster-
right.
You need to bolster up your education and your treatment in the area of substance abuse. My recommendation is that I agree fully with Mrs. Jackson, and I commute your sentence to 99 years. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
I concur with my colleagues. I also vote to commute the sentence, and if he doesn't come back in front of the board, I know that the parole project will get him an evaluation and the proper help that he needs.
Mr.
Right.
All right, Mr. Gowan, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote is the same. So on your behalf, sir, we're going to make the recommendation to the governor that your sentence be commuted to 99 years. Good luck.
Thank you.